Hello guys, this is my response video for Skinslip. He just recently hit 600 subs, so congratulations on that. And to celebrate, he's holding a contest, but he's done a really cool idea. I really love this idea, which is part of the reason why I'm making this video. He's also going to have a really cool prize pack as well, but just making the video is reward enough for me. So basically, he's doing a scavenger hunt, and basically he's got 10 questions. And you must own these movies, so you got to pick the movie that fits this question. Now, first up is a movie that has a number in the title, and it can't be like a sequel or anything, so it can't be whatever, Friday the 13th Part 2 or something like that. It's got to be something with the number as part of the title. So I'm going with 13 Assassins. This film was directed by Tashi Miike, and basically this film is about 13 samurai that have this mission to take down this evil lord. And they're totally outnumbered. There's only 13 of them, and they're taking on like hundreds of other samurai. This is a really cool movie. It's a little slow at the beginning, but this movie ends with like a 45-minute battle sequence. Totally awesome. Bloody as well. It's not as extreme as Ichi the Killer, but I think this is my favorite Tashi Miike movie. Alright, so next up we have a film with a color in the title. So basically I just decided to show White Dog. This is a film by Samuel Fuller, and basically this movie is about this actress that finds a stray dog, and she really loves the dog, but it turns out the dog was trained to attack black people. So she brings him to this animal trainer played by Paul Winfield, and he's trying to break the dog of its racist tendencies. This film is really awesome. This was supposed to originally play in the theaters back, I think, in 1982. But the NAACP heard about the plot of this film and they freaked out. They thought it was like kind of like a pro-racism movie, where it's really an anti-racism movie. It's really a shame that it didn't play in the theaters. It's a cool film, although it's very 80s, you know. So what are you gonna do? But that's part of the charm now, I guess. All right. Next up, we have a film pickup that was inspired by another YouTuber, and I have chosen Hellfire. Now this film, the only reason why I have this film is because I watched a review from Mr. Parka, and normally I would have passed up on this thing, but basically this film is like a combination of Reservoir Dogs with The Evil Dead. So basically there's like this group of prostitutes that decide they're going to rob their pimp, and they end up killing everybody except for one guy that's making a deal with the pimp, but it turns out that he's the Antichrist. So they bring this guy back to a cabin because they're going to torture him and figure out like where the money is, because there was no money when they did the raid. And they end up getting possessed one by one. This film is really awesome. It's a little bit on the cheesy side, but still a good watch. Alright, next up, a film with a killer car was the question. And you can go Tuesday with this. You can either go with an actual literal killer car type movie, like Christine, or you can go with the car that's like awesome. I decided to go with the awesome route, so I chose Blade Runner and the car that Decker drives in the movie, which is right here. I always liked that car. It's a really cool design, kind of ahead of its time for the time it was done. I always love this. This is probably my favorite science fiction movie, where Harrison Ford tracks down the humanoid replicants and has to kill them because they just want to be free and not slaves or stuff like that. Great movie. I think there's a sequel coming out, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully it's halfway decent. Alright, next up. Now this one threw me off at first. At first it was like a favorite apocalyptic movie, but it's actually favorite cause of the apocalypse. So I went and picked my my choice, and I decided to go with a Canadian film called Pontypool. Now, if you haven't seen this film, skip to the next one, because I'm going to have to give away the spoiler with this movie. And basically, the cause of the apocalypse in this movie is language. There's some kind of alien virus gets into the language, and it turns the people kind of like into zombies. And they start speaking gibberish, and they just go all homicidal. This is a really cool movie. I think this originally was supposed to be a radio play. I think it was a radio play. I don't know if Pontypool is a real town in Ontario, but it may be. The original story was like Pontypool changes everything. So basically you got this guy here, he's a shock jock, and he's working in this small town in the middle of nowhere, and then he gets reports that everybody in the town is acting crazy, and then he kind of figures out what's going on. We see here it's got the tagline, "Shut up or die," which pretty much is how you would survive this thing. So, Pontypool. Alright, next up is favorite slasher film that doesn't have a sequel, and I decided to go with Deadly Blessing. This is my favorite Wes Craven movie, which kind of surprised me when we watched it, because I always liked Nightmare on Elm Street, but this one I like more than Nightmare on Elm Street. This one has a young Sharon Stone in it, and of course you got Michael Berryman and Ernest Borgnine, some kind of weird Mennonite thing. I always liked this film. I'm glad to have it in my collection. I need to upgrade this to Blu-ray. It's just when I went to go buy this originally, I couldn't find a Blu-ray, so I said, screw it, I'm getting it anyways. And plus, I'd like it without the blue bar on the top of the Scream Factory release. It's a very strange film, and great extras as well. Alright, next up was a film directed by a female director. Kind of redundant, I know, but this is how it came out. And I've chose Jennifer Lynch's Boxing Elena, with Julian Sands and Sherilyn Fenn. I always liked this film, even though it was a bit strange. Basically, Julian Sands' character is obsessed with Sherilyn Finn's character, and something happens. She has an accident, but he, for some reason, doesn't want to lose her, so he removes her arms and legs, and she's pretty much stuck there, like in his house, with no arms or legs. A very strange film. Happy to have this in my collection, and I'd also like to see this on Blu-ray. Alright, next up is So Bad It's Good type of movie, and I went with Prematos, Lord of the Dead. This film is ridiculous. It's kind of like a possession zombie thing, but the thing about this movie is this has the worst dubbing track that I've ever seen for something like this. Like, the people here at, what's the name of this company? Shaco Remicin, they did a horrible job on the thing. You can hear the ambient noise too, and it's really bad, but the film is quite fun to watch. Alright, now next up is a movie that I prefer the soundtrack to over the actual movie, and for this one I chose David Lynch's The Lost Highway. Now, this movie I did like, but I still don't know what it's really about to this day. Like, it starts off like it's some kind of thriller with this possible home invasion intentions. You got like a Bill Pullman's character is married to Patricia Arquette, and they keep getting these weird videos. And the first videotape shows them a camera going up to the door. The next one shows it in the house, and then the last one shows the person going up to the bed and filming them sleeping. And then something happens. His wife is murdered. He ends up in prison, and then something weird happens where he becomes a different person, and they don't explain why or what's going on. But one of the things I did like about this film was the cameo by Robert Blake. He plays like kind of a demon devil type guy in this, and there's a scene where he's talking to Bill Pullman, and he tells him, "I'm at your house right now, and we're at a party." And he picks up the phone, and then sure enough, he's at the house. It's such a weird movie, but I've always preferred the soundtrack to the actual movie on this one, and I listened to the soundtrack more than I've actually watched the movie. Okay, and last up, it's like recommend a film that doesn't get a lot of love, like or undervalued type film. And for me, I picked Alex Cox Straight to Hell. This one actually stars, it's got a lot of people in it. It's got Elvis Costello, Joe Strummer, Dennis Hopper, Shane McGowan, Courtney Love. There's Jim Jarmusch is in this as well, and Grace Jones. This is a really cool movie. It's kind of like a modern day Western at the time. This movie came out originally right after Sid and Nancy, and it was kind of overshadowed by Sid and Nancy. I don't think this one even played in the theater that long, if it did at all. But I always liked this movie. I'm really happy to have this one in my collection. It's basically these guys. They were supposed to like rob something, and they slept in, so they're on the run from the mob, and they kind of hide out in this town, which is like a really weird town, and then things kind of go downhill from there. I think this is the Japanese poster for the film. So that's it. Those are my choices. Good luck to anybody else who's entered the contest, and congratulations again, Skinslip. And I'm looking forward to watching everybody else's responses. I know that Louwsburg did one, so I'm going to probably watch his after I upload this. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you all later.